Let me introduce you to the most advanced piece of engineering in the known universe. It features a self-repairing chassis. It possesses an onboard supercomputer capable of exascale processing. It is fully autonomous, energy efficient, and runs on a proprietary fuel source derived from organic matter. It has a runtime of roughly 80 years without a single system reboot. It is the unit, or, as you call it, you. But here is the glitch in the marketing material. If we dismantle this machine, if we strip away the user interface and look at the hardware, we find something disturbing. We assume that because you feel alive, the parts that make you must be alive too. But they aren't. Your heart is a pump, your brain is a circuit, and your cells, they are just chemical engines. There is no life inside you. There is only dead matter, following the laws of physics so perfectly that it creates the illusion of a ghost in the machine. Let's start with the hardware. Every living thing on Earth is built on the same architecture, the cell. Textbooks like to draw cells as squishy, friendly balloons. This is a lie. A cell is a protein-based robot, an industrial facility of terrifying complexity. And it is small, so small that gravity barely applies to it. It lives in a world dominated by the violence of thermal jitter. Meet the Kinesin. It looks like a little stick figure man walking along a tightrope. It isn't alive. It doesn't want to walk. It is a mechanical ratchet. When a fuel molecule called ATP hits it, the chemical bond snaps, releasing energy that forces the shape to jerk forward. It's not walking, it's chemically shuddering in a forward direction. Now, multiply this by millions. In a single human cell, several million chemical reactions occur every second. Imagine you are driving a car at 100 kilometers per hour. But, while driving, you have to lean out, grab scrap metal from the road, and replace your tires, your engine, and your chassis, without ever stopping the car. That is what your cells do. They are ships of Theseus, but here is the paradox. The kinesin isn't alive. The membrane wall isn't alive. The mitochondria isn't alive. They are just stuff, atoms, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, dead matter moved by the laws of electromagnetism. So, is life just the aggregate of these dead processes? If you stack enough dead Legos together, do they eventually gain a soul? To understand why this hardware exists, we have to look at the enemy. The physicist Erwin Schrödinger defined life as something that avoids decay into equilibrium. Equilibrium is a polite word for death. Imagine your computer's download folder. Over time, it becomes a graveyard of PDFs, JPEGs, and installers. It naturally trends toward chaos. This is the second law of thermodynamics. The universe wants your download folder to be disorganized. To clean it up, you have to invest energy. You are a localized pocket of high order, in a universe that wants you to be dust. To maintain this order, you need a set of instructions. Enter the operating system DNA. DNA is often called the blueprint of life, but in our tech review, it's more accurate to call it legacy firmware. It is a long string of quaternary code, ACTG, stored on a biological hard drive. And just like software, it is buggy. Every living thing is an iteration of this software. Evolution is just the patch update mechanism. The software wants to copy itself before the hardware crashes due to entropy. So, is the DNA alive? If you take DNA out of a cell, it does nothing. It's a hard drive without a computer. So we have dead hardware running dead software. If biology is technology, then viruses are the malware. There are 225 million cubic meters of viruses on Earth. But look at them. They are just a USB stick. A hull of protein containing a string of code. They have no metabolism. They don't eat. They just float until they plug into a compatible port. Once they plug in, they execute a script override system. The cell, like a confused factory worker, reads the new instructions and starts building weapons that will destroy it. Is the virus alive? Most biologists say no. It's just complex chemistry. But it acts with purpose. There are even zombie viruses that invade dead cells and reanimate their machinery. If a computer virus isn't alive, why does it feel so much like a predator? It is code that refuses to be deleted. But the strangest part of your internal technology isn't the malware. It's the power supply. Complex life requires massive amounts of energy. Billions of years ago, a large, primitive cell did something aggressive. It swallowed a smaller bacterium. But instead of digesting it, it offered a contract. The deal: protection for power. This is the mitochondria. Inside your cells, they have their own DNA, different from yours. They look suspiciously like bacteria because they used to be bacteria. They traded their independence for security. It implies that life is scalable. You aren't just an individual. You are a corporation. a massive conglomerate of ancient biological alliances, all working to keep the lights on. This brings us to the edge of the modern era. For centuries, humans drew a magical line in the sand. We are alive. Rocks are not. Then we built machines. We look at AI and ask, is it conscious? But let's flip the question. Look back at the Kinesin robot. If a biological cell is just a machine processing information, and an AI is a machine processing information, what is the fundamental difference? Is it the substrate, carbon vs silicon? Maybe life is a spectrum of complexity. A rock level 0, a virus level 5, ChatGPT level 20, a human level 100. We aren't different from the dead universe. We are just the dead universe acting very, very complicated. Maybe you are just the part of the universe that has opened its eyes. You are the mud that sat up, and that realization, that feeling of wonder, that is the only thing that is alive. Keep processing. Every day, we're surrounded by headlines, fast, loud, and often incomplete. But the real story of our universe lies underneath, in atoms too small to see, and systems too big to fully grasp. This channel exists to explore those ideas, to slow things down, connect the dots, and explain the science shaping our future. If you're curious about how the world really works, you're already part of the journey. If you enjoy science explained clearly, subscribe to the channel. If this episode changed how you think, leave a like and share it with someone curious like you. And if there's a question you want explored next, write it in the comments.